Welcome to CNN Your Money. I'm Gail Baker. Today we will be interviewing with two financial specialists talking about two specific companies. My first guest is Chris, representing AT&T. She will be discussing the financial reports and history of AT&T Inc. and aiding our viewers to make a decision on why AT&T would be a great investment. On my left is Sherry from Verizon. Sherry will also be highlighting the financial report and history of Verizon Communications Inc., while helping our viewers to make a decision on whether or not to invest in Verizon. So Chris, tell me a little bit about AT&T.
Oh, sure, Gail. AT&T is led by their CEO, Randall Stephenson, with their headquarters located in Dallas, Texas. As of January of this year, AT&T is the 20th largest mobile telecom operator in the world, with over 96 million mobile customers alone. Approved by the FCC in 2005, SBC, or Southwestern Bell, purchased AT&T for more than $16 billion US. They adopted the AT&T name, changing it from AT&T Corp to AT&T Incorporated, and claimed the exchange ticker name T that was currently used by AT&T.
Chris, word on the street is that AT&T will have a new acquisition for 2012. Are you at liberty to discuss this?
Sure, it's a known industry. It's all known in the industry right now that on March 20th of this year, AT&T announced its intention to buy T-Mobile USA for $39 billion from Deutsche Telekom. This deal would come with 33.7 million subscribers, making AT&T the largest mobile phone company in the U.S. If the deal does go through, AT&T would have a 43% market share of mobile phones in the U.S., making AT&T significantly larger than any of its competitors.
Chris, AT&T is keeping its investors busy trying to keep up with their activity. Let's see what Sherry has to say about the competition.
Thank you. Verizon incorporated in 1983 and is led by their CEO, Ivan Seidenberg, with headquarters located in New York, New York. Verizon is a dual-segmented company, domestic wireless and wireline. As of December 31st, 2010, the wireless accounted for 60% of Verizon's revenue. Their wireline, which includes voice communications, internet access, broadband, video, and long-distance service, accounts for an additional 39% of revenues. Verizon goes by the ticker name VZC.
Sherry, it sounds like the competition is good now. How are they faring in the market right now?
Well, Verizon shares are currently at $37.12. Their 52-week average high is $38.95, and the low is $24.76. During this last year, their cost of goods sold rose from 41.43% to 41.94%.
That's not a significant rise. Do you have any ratios that might be interesting?
Well, their price-to-book ratio is at 2.7, which may sound low, but perhaps realistic. Their price-to-sales ratio is at 1.5, and their price-to-cash flow ratio is at 5.3. With price earnings at 29.9%, while the industry average is at 16.1%, and S&P 500 at 16.4%, Verizon is looking very strong.
What's your projection for shareholders this quarter? Do you think your shareholders will be happy with their return?
Along with a dividend yield at 5.2% compared to the industry at 3.6% and S&P 500 at 2%, Verizon is a smart investment in your future.
How are you feeling about a buy, sell, or hold right now?
My suggestion for the moment would be to hold.
Thank you, Sherry. Now, Chris, how is AT&T looking right now?
Gail, thanks. They're not looking too bad. AT&T shares are currently at $31.22. Their 52-week average high is at $27.66 with a low of $25.25. During this past year, their cost of goods rose only from 40.97% to 42.5%, with a price-book ratio of 1.7%, which also looks pretty realistic right now.
With AT&T's sale ratio at 1.5 and their price-to-cash flow ratio at 5.3, how does Verizon compare with that?
Well, currently AT&T's ratio matches that of Verizon, but their dividend yield is so much greater than that of Verizon due to their sheer size. Their price earnings are at 9.7% compared to the industry average at 16.1% and the S&P at 16.4%.
Your price earnings seem to be a bit off this year compared to the industry. Do you think this will hurt you this year?
Well, we're just in our first quarter, so I think that we can turn that around and close in the margin. However, the dividend yield percent is looking pretty strong right now at 5.4% compared to the industry at 3.6% and the S&P 500 at 2%. With those dividends, AT&T is looking very competitive right now.
Sounds like we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future for this company.
Yeah, I'd only be investing money if it wouldn't hurt me if I lost it.
I think that's a good perspective. Thank you both for coming to our show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me as well.
You're welcome. If you want more in-depth information, go to cnn.com/yourmoney. Now, back to our breaking news.
Awesome.
Okay, did I talk a little bit louder?